Okay, welcome back to Phoenix Flight Manual. This is part 2 of the journey reading. Timed out. So, just getting into the Divine Feminine where she was at the beginning of this twin flame journey. We have the Hanged Man, and I was just connecting that with the Death card that came up for the Divine Masculine, because there is reference to death in this card. It is actually a body wrapped in gauze being sent out like Viking style to for the Viking style burial, and there's also a stork with a little coin purse around its neck, which really indicates to me the delivering of so the Death card represents the end of something, but the beginning of something too. And you can see that death, the end, and the beginning represented in the Hangman too. So to me, that's coming through as I was saying that I was feeling into the Knight of Coins coming through as being somewhat responsible, somewhat cautious about moving forward. Definitely with a strong intention to move forward, but just cautiously. And this is telling me why. Perspective of realizing that this is, a big transitional moment. So what else is coming through for the Divine Feminine in the beginning of this connection? What energy was coming through for the Divine Feminine? Okay. So we have celebration. And we have respect. So this is coming through in connection with that Nine of Coins as, just what I was saying, like with a great inspiration to move forward, but also a respect for it's a big deal, just recognizing it's a big deal. So then I want to look more into the cause of the inner conflict for the Divine Feminine as of now. What is in conflict for the Divine Feminine? What is in conflict for the Divine Feminine? What's this conflict about? I'm gonna wait to see what other cards come out too, because I can't really tell on a conflict card. Just one. So these are the 3 cards that came out. This card came out in reverse. So we have ecstasy, we have the waters of life, and we have the salmon in reverse. So the way that I read this is the inner conflict is about flow of energy. So we have each our own life force energy flow, and that's what we create with. That's how we create our reality. It's how we affect others. It's how we develop things and affect the world. And for me, this message is coming through of this inner conflict between what feels really good and following your purpose. So I read the Queen of Vessels or the Queen of Cups in this deck because it's depicted as the salmon. The salmon swims upstream because that's where the safe place is to reproduce. So although they live in the ocean, they'll swim upstream to find this safe place to create from. And the fact that it's in reverse says to me that there's inner conflict between what desires of feeling really good and following one's purpose, making your way, committing to that challenge of that journey. That's a journey for the salmon, to get to that safe place to create from, that ideal place to create from. It's a challenge, it's a journey to get there. So really being conscious of one's energy flow. Where's my focus going? Where's my energy going? That's where the conflict is happening here. Okay, we'll get more into that later. And this next step, this Knight of Wands, let's get some clarifiers on that. Okay, so it's funny because it's really matching up with the Divine Masculine, which is awesome, because whenever you're matching up, whenever you're lining up, that's always a really good thing. So clearance, clearing things out. So if what's coming up for the Divine Masculine is balancing the scales to create justice, then like I was saying with the second justice card that came through, that some of the Divine Masculines, if not most, are going to be looking to the Divine Feminine for guidance in how to clear up this mess. To restore that balance and get the justice that they both are needing to move forward. Second card that came up for Divine Feminine with the King of Wands is Judgment. So the way that I read Judgment is, it is different to Justice in the sense that Judgment is more connected to spiritual, like morals, that type of thing, but also spiritual liberation. So in the Gateway to the Divine Tarot, it's depicted as kind of like a Judgment Day kind of scene. So in that scene, there is an angel like raising up spirits to heaven. So for me, it's not just about passing judgment. It's about that spiritual liberation too. So, for example, forgiveness can be very, very liberating. It's a judgment. You've made a choice. You've taken in account of everything, and you've decided the right thing to do here is to forgive this person. And for most of us, that's not the end of the story. So whether you forgive them or not, then what? So what I'm feeling from this is that the judgment is about what's going to be right, kind of, period. And then what's going to be right for the Divine Feminine, what's going to be right for the Divine Masculine, what's going to be the right balance of everything, taking it all into account. So I'm getting that too, of like just taking all things into account, everything. It's easy to get focused on certain aspects of a situation, but if you do not take account of the entirety of the situation, you will not make a fair judgment. Okay, and then we also have the Home card, which, as I hope you can see, you have female and male stone carvings on those stones there at the entrance to the home. And so this is the 10 of stones, or the 10 of coins, which represents abundance, but it's also named home here and very much depicted as, to me, this is also in this deck specifically referring to twin flame, soulmate relationships. So that balance there of the masculine, feminine at the entranceway, and then the home like featured right there in the center. It's like holding space for that. It's the honoring of that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so from here I'm going to go ahead and use the Animal Spirit deck. And I'm going to go ahead and just check into some of the energies that are being held and sent towards each other. Okay, so where is the divine feminine? Back. Where is the divine masculine? Rabbit. Okay, how does the divine masculine see the divine feminine at this time? So 2 cards come out. Elephant and the moth. I'll bring the book out. How's the divine feminine seeing the divine masculine? Also 2 cards. Sea serpent and the owl. Very interesting. And then what energy is the divine masculine wanting to connect with in the divine feminine? What energy is the divine masculine wanting to connect with most in the divine feminine? Stingray. What energy is the divine feminine wanting to connect most with in a divine masculine? The lamb. So, I'm going to bring the book out for you. I'm somewhat familiar with all of these, but I think that it's helpful when I'm doing collective readings to use the book. So, where is the divine feminine at? The bat. Give me a second. Keep that for later. All right, the bat. Darkness, letting go, death, leading to rebirth. Before emerging, the bat waits for the sun to set and the moon to rise in the darkness. It can see all that was invisible in the daylight hours. The bat is a master of the subtle senses of the underlying forces that cause some things to prosper and other things to fade. Very much like the death card. The bat card shows up to signify the ending of a chapter, the closing of a door. The bat comes swiftly, encouraging us to move on. In just a few hours, a new day dawns, no more lingering in the past. So, when this energy is in balance, you're accepting, you're adaptive, and you adjust well. When you're out of balance with this card, you refuse to let go and you reminisce. To bring into balance, watch the sunrise. So if you are feeling into that energy, just choosing into, like, there's so many resources available for like meditation to release and let go, doing things like activities that you know help you let go. For some people that might be swimming in the pool. Often that's a really good release for a lot of people. Could even be a nice cleansing bath. You know, exercise really usually helps with that kind of thing. Singing, dancing, what have you. But just like getting the flow going helps you release when you have an attachment or gripping onto something. And then how is the divine feminine seeing the divine masculine as the rabbit? Afraid of everything, overwhelmed and frozen. The rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks about it so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears and thanks him for the great idea. Rabbit energy is alive when we are scared, most often about the future, and we become our own worst enemy. We spin up a dust cloud of fear and then complain to others that we are lost. Notice your thoughts and words, O rabbit, they shape your destiny. So when this card is in balance, it's sensitive, problem solver, good listener. When out of balance, over explains, talks fast. To bring into balance a day of silence. So I do read the animal spirit deck in reverse. So for me, when it comes up in reverse, it is out of balance of this energy. None of the cards are in reverse today, so it will be the when in balance. So sensitive, problem solver, good listener. That's what we're that's the energy that the divine masculine is in. How is the divine masculine seeing the divine feminine? Well, let's take a look. Okay, so 2 cards. First one, elephant. Unstoppable, auspicious, wise. The elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. Like Ganesh, the elephant represents immense wisdom as well as good fortune. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles, so if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon become clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with the light of self-knowledge. When in balance, which it's upright, so I will read it as that. One pointed focus, generous, loving. So this is how the divine masculine sees the divine feminine at this time. And then we also have the moth. Impulsive, hasty, wishful. The moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations of the great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. When in balance, which it is, enthusiastic and whimsical. So the divine masculine is seeing the divine feminine as wise, single pointed focus, so like focused, wise, and making movement, strong movement, and then also enthusiastic and whimsical. Okay, and then the divine masculine, divine feminine is seeing the divine masculine as the serpent. The sea serpent, sorry. So, which is in the spirit section of this deck. Healing emotional wounds, expressing desires. The sea serpent represents the energy of expression, whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire. The sea serpent helps us move and direct our energy into a healthy current. When the essence of this card is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. We know what we desire most. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment and we let the cool waters of forgiveness in to heal our wounds. When the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in the muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives, and in other places it floods. It's important to remember, no matter what the waters of our emotional lives look like, the sea serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around us in a gesture of protection. She supports us as we learn to express our true natures. So the divine feminine sees the divine masculine in this process of learning to express his emotions and desires. And then we have the owl. Abundance, clairvoyant treasures. The owl is a mysterious and otherworldly creature found in folklore from east to west. The white owl in this particular deck is the companion of the goddess Lakshmi and represents wealth, beauty, and good fortune. When the owl card appears, it's an omen that a boon or treasure is on the way. A boon is like a spiritual gift, either in spiritual or material form. With owl wisdom on your side, you'll see and know exactly what to do with this boon, how it can further serve your dharma and bring abundance to the world. Trust that the wellspring of treasures is infinite. When in balance, generous, trusting, secure. So it's very interesting how the divine masculine and divine feminine are seeing each other. It definitely is having an energy of moving forward very much, with the sea serpent being depicted as kind of like that circle of life, and then both of well, all of these cards really are all about movement. I mean, all of the creatures move, but like the owl is known for its beautiful movements. Circle of life, movement, wheel. Elephant, clearing the path, like pushing forward. And then the moth with being depicted as with the enthusiasm, that whimsical enthusiasm. It's all very forward moving, and that's great energy. And what are the divine feminine and divine masculine wanting to connect with most in each other? The divine masculine is wanting to connect with the stingray in the female. Developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. The stingray card represents a pivotal point in personal growth. The movement has come when the stingray must decide, the moment has come when the stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. No matter what choice is made now, it's inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again, as the force of Dharma growing within the stingray is too strong to ignore. When in balance, stingray energy is eager and wants to grow. And it's recommending to continue to stay in balance, move through the discomfort. So that's like move through the resistance when it comes to spiritual growth and healing. What is the divine feminine wanting to connect with in the divine masculine? The lamb. So, give me one sec. Peaceful, prophetic, patient. The lamb is the bearer of an important message. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is the honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, or sometimes a surprising stranger. Though the lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will repeat and reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, receive. When this card is in balance, there's a knowingness and inner peace. So what came through for me on that is, through this journey for me, I am the kind of person who wants to understand, wants to know and understand as much as I possibly can, and specifically around things that I'm most interested in. And in times of like feeling like I don't know or understand what has been going on from the other side, from the divine masculine aspect, I've spoken to other men in no detail, just concepts. How does it work to be a man? Like, let me in your head a little bit. I want to understand how you guys process things. And I've asked different men about different relationship experiences that they've had, and like what has been their experience of pride. I asked a friend of mine the other day, what has pride, getting in the way? What is the biggest thing you've lost from pride getting in the way? And it was a woman, and it was a relationship with a woman that he loved a lot and had a lot of history with. And it was just interesting. I was just like, what? I had asked another friend of mine, if you had, like, I kind of explained to him the whole twin flame connection. I was like, if you had experienced something like that, would you have gotten scared and shut down? He was like, absolutely. And he's a beautiful, loving light worker, amazing man, lovely through and through, and so kind and generous. And he was like, yeah, I would have been terrified of screwing it up, and I probably would have just like pulled back, because if I thought that highly of someone and loved them that much, I would be very afraid of bringing any harm to them, mostly by accident, just not knowing what to do and feeling, overwhelmed with the pressure of like not messing it up, doing the right thing. So the Lamb card talks about receiving information through different avenues, through different people, and allow it to come through for you as valuable to your situations and experiences with others. I found it really, really, really helpful, and I hope this reading has been helpful for you all. If you like it, go ahead and hit like. If you know somebody who could get something out of this, go ahead and share it with them. And I would love to see you back on the channel. If you do want a private reading, my email address is down there. You can reach out to me there. And I will love to see you back next time. Thanks for watching.